What is up, Big Connect? What's up? Hello, 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 brothers and sisters. Yes, G Smith, that tweet was actually pretty fucking baller. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what is this guy cooking? And then I listened to it and I was like, oh yeah, actually. I mean, you know, Amish Paradise is based off of, it's a parody of Gangster's Paradise, but yeah, both like it is very similar. It's pretty funny, the progression there. So guys, we have entirely too much information to try to get through. So we have a TWAB, we have a Vidoc, we have two, oh my god, we have too much information to get through, guys. This is fucking ridiculous, actually. Now that I knew it was a lot, but now that I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to read all this, bro. Oh my god. There's so much. Okay. And there's a new Bring Me the Horizon album tonight. So I'm like, wahoo, you know? Okay. Yeah, and there's the new exotic sword name that I guess just came in an email. Is that true? Someone tweeted me about this. I have not seen it myself. That means that we'll almost certainly get something like another preview tomorrow or probably not Monday, but yeah. So in the email it says fucking classic Bungie, dude. That's sick. In the email it says gear sneak peeks. And it lists all the stuff that we've seen stuff. So hazardous propulsion, gifted conviction, Madiadoxia, and then Kavasta microcosm and still hunt. But it also lists Ergo some exotic sword. Oops. So that's pretty sick. So yeah, definitely stuff to look forward to. Hopefully we get a cool little preview for it. Excited about that, brother. Yeah, man. Yeah, there is another Vidoc tomorrow as well. Shit, brother. I will be gone. I'm going to my brother's high school graduation, so I will be gone. We leave tomorrow morning, and I will be gone Saturday as well. So I'll probably be back Sunday night, and then we'll have like a stream recapping stuff then. But holy shit. Okay, I guess let's watch this Vidoc, friends. Congrats to my brother. It's weird. He's 9 years younger than me. So I have so many siblings. I have 4 brothers and 1 sister across different sets. So like my mom and dad divorced after me. And then they total had 5 more kids with their respective new spouses. I have too many siblings, okay? But this is the one that's graduating is my youngest one. And he's graduating high school, which makes me feel fucking old. Just saying. That also means I graduated high school 9 years ago, which also means I've been playing Destiny for 9 years. It's like I said, it's kind of like a split family, very non-traditional, but it is what it is. All right, here we go. Is he going to be a chemist genius as well? I think he wants to be an engineer, but I'm not sure. I don't think you've ever said they both have 5. Not 5. No, they have a total of 5 kids. So my mom got remarried and she had 4 more, and then my dad got remarried and he had 1 more. So I have 5 siblings total, 4 brothers and a sister. But okay, I am so happy, by the way, that we finally get some FaceTime with Tyson Green. I've been asking for this for a couple months. You want to say Scaro's a genius? Okay, brother. Fucking calm down, okay? I am a goddamn... Oh, fuck it all, brother. But yeah, I've been asking for Tyson Green FaceTime for a little bit, and it's nice that we get to start seeing some of them. So we'll see.
Line emerged in Destiny 1 that wasn't planned for, but it was very deliberate by the person who put it in the game, and is very resonant for Destiny.
I am the only child of both my parents yet.
For me as a person, and that line is, "Guardians make their own fate." That still gives me goosebumps. For me, that has sort of become a touch point for the Destiny story. Again and again, external...
Oh, sorry. It's probably echoing because I'm not wearing a headset. Sorry. I didn't want to mess up my luscious locks, bro.
Forces come and try to impose a fate upon you.
Is it okay now? Is it good? Is it good? Is it good? I haven't listened to the album yet. Garbage. The new Electric Callboy is also very good. We have a 4-hour drive tomorrow, and I'll probably not. It's like really early in the morning, so I'll probably listen to it early. I'm pretty excited about that.
Put it in the game, and is very resonant for Destiny players, and resonant for me as a person.
Tell me how his audio is. Is it good?
Guardians make their own fate.
Exactly, Kyle. Yeah.
That still gives me goosebumps. For me, that has sort of become a touch point for the Destiny story. So
I'm curious who wrote Guardians Make Their Own Fate then. They said it was very deliberate. So I'm trying to think of like people that we know worked on Vault of Glass, and I think the 3 people I know of that worked on Vault of Glass are Christopher Barrett, Luke Smith, and Joe. Did Joe Blackburn work on Vault, or did he come in? He might have worked on King's Fall. He might not have joined the raid team until later, actually. Now that I think about it. The nerf to sub-bracers wasn't that bad. Dog is a 20% nerf. That is it is a significant nerf, okay? Okay? It is a significant nerf, okay? They'll still be good. They'll just be 20% less good. And that's a lot of percent less good. Joe came in and taken King. That's what I thought. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, Luke Smith definitely worked on Vault of Glass. I believe Christopher Barrett did too. I don't remember if he was on the raid team or not.
Again.
But I feel like if it was a Luke Smith quote, they would have said it. So I don't know. I'm interested though, because they were like, oh, a very certain person wrote this. Like, fucking say it.
And again, external forces come and try to impose a fate upon you and humanity. And again, you show them that they can't do that. We make our own fate. That's not just a powerful theme of Destiny, it's also a powerful theme for us as people.
He has a very calming voice.
Developers and as humanity, we make our own fate.
So I would just like to point out, I predicted that the name of the raid is going to have Oblivion in it. So I said this 2 or 3, 4 weeks ago, somewhere in there. I think the raid's going to be like End of Oblivion or just Oblivion or maybe even Confronting Oblivion or something like that. I do think it'll have the word Oblivion in it. So I just like came up with that. I at that point, I don't think we had seen Oblivion associated with the marketing, or at least I'm not aware of if we had. I just know the Witness has said Oblivion a couple times, and I just think it's like a cool fucking word. So I really hope Oblivion is in the name because I'm gonna look like a fucking genius, okay?
When you're talking about 10 years of story, there's a lot of stuff crammed in there, and there's a lot of things that we could do and could talk about. But as storytellers, the hardest part isn't coming up with the ideas. It's knowing which ones.
No, so one thing I thought was really funny, they blur all the sticky notes. So they learned last time they showed a whiteboard, it was when Luke Smith announced like the 3, like Beyond Light, Witch Queen, Lightfall at the time. It was somewhere around there. And they show a board and they didn't really blur it. It was out of focus, but they didn't blur it. And people started putting together what it was. Here they straight up, like, they blur the fuck out of these sticky notes when they show them.
We want to tell a story that makes
which is pretty cool.
The player feel like all of that time that you invested, we saw you, and we want to give you the experience that you've been waiting for.
We looked at everything we had.
Oh, that's mission count. That didn't even occur to me, bro. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Okay. Okay. I didn't even consider. We have the campaign. Okay, so 1 mission, 2, 3. So there's 5 missions, and then a lost sector tour, whatever that means. And then a strike. So there's probably only going to be 1 strike. 2 more missions. We saw one of the missions was called Redacted, so that's like the after the raid one. So the question is there's 3 unclaimed sticky notes here. Do we think the 3 sticky notes are 3 post-campaign missions, or do we think that these are 3 story beats from the raid? Or is it like 1 line, like is this raid, and then there's like two post-campaign, and then the final campaign mission? What are we thinking there? You open this month? No, it's definitely missions. It'll be 8 missions. So in they showed it here, an early version of the board here that they're drafting. We know that there's 8. I think they've already confirmed that there's 8, or it's been heavily implied. So 7, and then this one says redacted on it. But we pretty much, I think Joe like soft confirmed it's 7 missions and then the raid and then an 8th final mission. It wasn't like exactly said like that, but it was kind of like, it was very, very heavily implied. Do you think the sticky notes are color coordinated? Where do they show the fucking, where do they show it here? Was it further on? Oh, and then there's arcs here. Ah, shit.
Give you the experience that you've been waiting for.
We looked at everything we had. We laid it all out like whiteboard.
Oh, yeah, they are color-coded. Oh, fuck. Do you think yellow's boss fight? Do you think yellow's boss fight and this is raid and there are 4 bosses and 2 non-bosses? That's my prediction right there, fellas. Ladies and fellas. I guess the strike would have a boss. Oh, well. You know, like, yellow might be witness dialogue. Yeah, I guess they're storyboarding like narrative beats. You're right. Oh, they are color coded up here. Can we see literally anything? It'll be really fun once we beat the campaign to come back and try to figure out what this was. Oh, you can almost make something out there, man. So close.
Words and like everything.
Oh, this is so cool, man. Okay. I like how Ghost has an arc. Green is crow? Oh, I don't think... Do you think that's what that means? You think these are
looked at everything
all characters?
Laid it all out like whiteboard.
Oh, crow. Oh, okay. Well, if that's crow, look, final story. Okay, we can totally do this. We can fucking totally do this, right? That we can totally do this. If green is crow, Yeah. Green is totally crow. Like, you're totally right. Look, you can see the O and the W there, right? So that's totally crow. So that means crow speaks here. Don't you think there would be some crow like here, though? Across all... Oh, my God. Okay. We're fucking cooking here, chat.
And like every...
Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6? Are there 6 colors here? Yeah, there are 6. So, blue's gotta be Zavala, right? Blue has gotta be Zavala. Is that... And early on, it's gotta be Cade. So I bet Cade is light blue because he's serving as like the vendor destination or the destination vendor. So you're going to talk to him a lot at the beginning of missions. So I bet this is like Cade. Yeah, so I bet blue is Cade or Ghost. But I feel like Ghost is probably going to have the least development out of anyone. I think blue is Cade. You literally, there's no way you can tell here, man. Or is light blue I think dark yellow is witness. Like if you think about you're gonna get some intro, and then like the end of the campaign is gonna be mostly witness, right? Like I think this is raid. I think that's the raid. And then you get like witness dialogue, you know what I mean? What do you think the little pink thing means? What does that say? I mean, that kind of looks like V something G? Vault of Glass?
We've woken the hive.
Virgin? What is VIG? What would that mean? But yeah, like, surely Dark Yellow is witness, right? Like, we get a little bit of character development. And I don't think there's enough in... Who do we expect to talk the least? Probably Ikora. So, do we think Ikora? I think yellow here is Ikora. Because, like, why would she talk a lot? But why would she be the final point? Who would be the final person we see talk? Cade. I would think would actually be the final thing we see talk. But there's not enough light yellow to be Cade. So I think it's Ikora. And then Zavala, I think, is going to be dark blue. I like Zavala for dark blue. Who does that leave? Ghost. I'm missing someone, and I'm stupid. Did we already say... Oh, we didn't say Cade yet. Yeah, okay, it's light blue. Oh, yeah, so this would be the witness, and then that makes orange Ghost. Yeah, I can see that. I think that could check out. I'm very curious what these are. The light and what do you think across VPs means? Light blue is Tanix? No, yellow. No, pink is Tanix. Very curious. Very curious. Anyways, someone bookmark this and then we'll see if we're right. Oh, yeah, Keitel, Sabathun, yeah, Mara, yeah. These could be supporting cast characters. That's a good point. What does that say? Huh. Cool. Oh, do you think that says resurrected? I'm assuming resurrected because it's a super long word and ED. Budgie, why are you blurring story plot lines? Anyways, cool. Very cool. Thanks for pointing that out.
We were trying to look for...
Oh, shit! Wow. Well, my friends. Well, my friends. Vex. Mountain? Cinematic at the there's a cinematic at the beginning of mission 5, okay? Combatant? I think that says combatant. The mountain is a combatant. I find it interesting that the Vex are going to play a role, to be honest. Or the end of mission 5. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Theme that felt resonant, not just for this story, but for Destiny as a whole. And the theme that we kept coming back to.
We are going to get so many cutscenes, okay? Is this the bird cutscene from the beginning of Destiny 2? The graphics look way too good to be from the beginning of Destiny 2. Like, I feel like we just now started getting graphics that look this good. This has to be new, right? This is a new one? Yeah. I think I saw like 4 or 5 new cutscenes here, man.
Was purpose and fate.
Do we think this is like the final cutscene? The witness? Or the traveler eats the ghosts back? It's like, it eats them. It takes the ghosts.
And that's what this story is about. Not just for ourselves as the player.
Notice this pattern, the cross pattern. That's going to come back in a second. I've got a cool little thing about that.
But also for our characters.
I used to think I'd give anything to bring you back.
Second new cutscene.
I cried quite a few times doing those scripts because I treated it with the love of a fan. Every time I opened a script, I was like,
third new cutscene.
What would I want to see? What would I want to hear?
You get to see their emotional journey, the struggle.
Fourth new cutscene.
Defeat the witness.
This looks sick, by the way. Zavala sounds good as to. Oh my god, I'm gonna be honest. Both times, I totally forgot.
Is about.
Let me listen. Let me listen.
For ourselves as the player, but also for our characters.
I used to think I'd give anything to bring you back.
I cried.
I mean, that's pretty fucking close. It's deeper. Like he does the high end is a little different if you're listening for it. But I'm gonna be completely honest. Like I listened to the trailer earlier today on my phone. Didn't think anything of it. I saw it on Twitter and I was like, oh my god, yeah, Keith David. And then this was me rewatching it and I totally forgot. And neither time did it sound that crazy to me. That was it's not that different. It's good. It's if you listen for it, but yeah, it is deeper. Like I said, the high end is different, but it's not enough to be jarring. You saw Ink last night? Let's fucking go.
Quite a few times doing those scripts because I treated it with the love of a fan. Every time I opened a script, I was like, what would I want to?
If you went into it looking for it, if you were like, oh, like if you on the front of your mind, you were thinking like, oh, okay, this, it's now Keith David or whatever. Like if you're cognizant of that and you were listening for it, I can understand like you seeing it. But if you forgot or like you just weren't thinking about it or it wasn't front of mind, I have a hard time believing anyone would be pulled out of it. You know what I mean?
To see what would I want to hear?
You get to see their emotional journey, the struggle of how do we defeat the witness.
This looks so good. I can't wait. They did more characterization of the witness in this trailer than they have in the entire game. And it looks awesome. And I'm so excited.
Let's bring an end.
The voice is crazy too. They give some updates here.
The witness sees itself as the one true God. So it's come to the traveler because it
and this is a sick cutscene. So this is probably going to be the ghost cutscene with the light bird. This is probably that same cutscene. This is a feather of the light bird.
To finish this vision.
Its goal is salvation. Why don't you want that?
Be reborn.
Our mission is to make sure that we can prevent it from getting the light, the thing that it needs, in order to make it all happen.
And I love this, by the way. It's the Destiny one. So once again, when you're going through the Pale Heart, like the Traveler is doing its best to kind of like recreate your memories, but there's corruption from the Witness, which is why everything's kind of shattered. And I love that there's a callback to the Destiny 1 Vanguard table. That is so good. Garbage! Thank you for the 15 months, less than 2 weeks to go. Let's fucking go. Yeah, we're a week and a half away, man. I'm so excited. This is such a cool callback. I'm hoping for all sorts of awesome Easter eggs all within this. So
it's finally confronted the Traveler, and here we are, thorns in its side.
I mean, this too is like, I'm so excited to. It seems like the more they show of this, you know, I bet this is the strike. No, we already know the strike. It's Ahamkara, though. Maybe this isn't the strike. It's just they show so many different areas. Like, it feels like the Pale Heart is huge. They show so many areas, and it's like, how are they connecting these areas, man?
Blip on its radar, trying to make a difference.
You're gonna speak to the Witness, and the Witness is gonna shine a light on...
I'm not gonna hope for 2 strikes. I'm gonna say 1 strike. Could be wrong, could be a dungeon. Do not go into this expecting a dungeon. Please, for the love of God, okay? Do not go in expecting a dungeon. You will be disappointed.
Some things, and you wonder, like, what would it be like? What would it be like to be a disciple of the Witness?
Your guardians use...
And this is what I'm talking about. Like, so this will probably be like a mission, right? Like part of the Witnesses like development. Like we're learning more about the Witness, and it's kind of taunting us. What a sick set piece, by the way. Really cool. It's got like that dark foresty vibe. It looks sick.
Yet to be determined. We are in need of a god killer.
Every time you hear the Witness.
That's incredible. So I'm wondering why the Witness needs a god killer, by the way. Like, is it trying to recruit us to actually like kill the Traveler once and for all? Yeah, the reticle too, it's a little heart. All of the weapons are themed off of playing cards. So I bet some of them have hearts and some of them have spades and diamonds, you know.
We are in need of a god killer.
So cool.
Every time you hear the Witness, you're not just
hearing the Witness's voice. You love the Witness's voice. In a second, they're gonna play like the angry version of the Witness's voice, and they've done such a good job.
You're hearing whispers in the background. You're hearing all of these other textures.
You're still resisting.
You can feel a subtext sometimes where the real Witness comes through, or at least things that it doesn't want you to know about it come through.
There is only suffering.
Putting characters into pressure cookers.
That's what a crazy voice, dude. Have they changed the graphics? It looks so different. I mean, most of this is cutscenes, and Bungie's cutscenes, especially the last like, I'd say post Beyond Light, their cutscenes have been unbelievable. Maybe even like starting with Beyond Light. With that first like Dark Vanguard cutscene, but I mean, like Witch Queen on, their cutscenes have been immaculate, dude.
And I can't imagine a more intense pressure cooker than it's the end of the world. If we fail, everything is frozen forever, and only we can do it.
What a sick visual! Oh man! I'm hyped. So this is like tower courtyard type vibe going on here. How do we get from this to the purple abyss to the fucked up place in one? I just don't. What are these transition areas are going to be absurd.
The handful of us inside of a god.
And this is crazy too.
There were a couple of themes that we had when we started on the Pale Heart. The 2 main ones that I remember were surreal and shared.
This guy Gabriel, he's sick. I love the way he talks about stuff.
To Spire.
Seeing how they put a tiny little guardian at the beginning of this vast journey that's spreading out in front of you really put into perspective this.
This is what I'm talking about, man. So the thing that is so confusing to me is like, usually in patrol, like patrols don't have like gaps. It's not like an area and then like you teleport to another area. It's like you can walk the entire way, right? So are you telling me that we can walk from this point to that spire in one go? That feels like unbelievable, right? Like surely there's going to be like a teleporting thing or something. Or you just won't be able to get all the way there in patrol. I mean, that's always a thing as well. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, what's like the end? Because but this is what I don't understand. They have said the destination is linear, so not necessarily like in a straight line, but you will experience the destination in a linear capacity until after the campaign. The end of the campaign is us confronting the witness, and the witness is in that thing. So like, we have to get most of the way there. I'm just so like, how big is this shit gonna be, man? I don't know. The graphics are incredible. The logistics of it are very confusing to me. Also, notice the Eververse kiosk is oh well, I guess it's technically Postmaster is lit up.
Scale that we needed to hit in order to make the Pale Heart look and feel dangerous and ambitious and vast.
When we were thinking,
the vast thing is crazy. Okay, so this is what I wanted to point out. So this is art of the destination armor. I told you to take note of the crosses earlier. You can see the crosses here. So like, I'm not really sure what's happening here. Is this like the activation of prismatic or something? But this is a guardian. Like, this is early concept art or something. It looks awesome. I really like this style a lot. So yeah, like a hunter ascending. Yeah, exactly. It looks great. So,
up surreal things, it was a bit of a challenge because.
And it's gonna. Oh no! I clicked a button. Oh fuck. Here we go.
When we were thinking of surreal things, it was a bit of a challenge.
So yeah, we got faces here. These faces make me really uncomfortable.
How do you make something surreal?
Oh look, there's a oh shit! Root of Nightmare seed right there. See it? Seed it? Watch it flash.
Surreal. For me,
that's a Root of Nightmare seed. This is sick. The Witness's cloud coming out of a little cottage. This is sick.
It's putting familiar things out of context. What is the thing when you turn the corner that you are not expecting? So that's when we.
What the fuck is this? You got the church. You have like Cosmodrome stuff. What? You got an upside down Hive tomb ship here. What is this? This has to be. This is like screaming strike environment. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a huge Exodus ship right through the middle. This, like, I have never seen, or a raid. This is either, there's no way this is patrol. I refuse to believe that this is patrol. First mission portal.
We play with scale, we play with
maybe
unexpected things,
huge ghost.
There's this
all the limb stuff is so
piece
cool.
Of concept art that is like this massive ghost in the horizon, and you just like go over there and it's just like broken down in the middle, and it's just weird in a way that is unsettling but at the same time feels very visceral.
Another one that we used was body parts.
and it sounds a bit strange.
A bit.
So
The
I
wall.
was taking screenshots from the game.
So I think what happens, I would be shocked if this doesn't happen. I think, yeah, we're going to go through the portal. Maybe something happens, but I think like our first playable sequence is us going, like waking up outside. I think we get resurrected, because you kind of see it here. I think we get resurrected outside of the Cosmodrome wall, and then we go through it, and then somehow we're at the tower.
And just trying to find silhouettes.
Something like that. But I just have a feeling the first beat is us getting resurrected right where we started Destiny 1.
Hands. So all the limbs was made out of fingers coming out, and eyes were on the floor. And I do remember our direction was like that, like more hands.
Are there hands holding up the freeway in which we were born? Yes.
Or that's like a final mission thing. We either start the campaign getting resurrected where we started, or we end the campaign. This could be a, we complete the raid, everyone gets loaded into the final mission, and it's something happens and you get resurrected in the same thing. It's something like that's got to happen.
Instantly, and then almost as quickly you'll realize you've never been here before.
That looks absurd.
Realize you've never been here before.
I definitely feel like there's some aspects of the Pale Heart where like this is freaking weird.
So yeah, we have
scary.
Mars here. So I guess we can, we've seen Cosmodrome, we've seen EDZ. This is like, I don't know what this is supposed to be, but over here on the look how close we are to the spire. Look how close we are. And this is, oh my god, we're gonna. Anyways, I think this is like DSC, because you can see DSC crystals like. Or sorry, what the fuck am I saying? Dreaming City. There's Dreaming City crystals right here. So I think there will be little parts that are like very reminiscent of most, if not all, of our locations. So there's Dreaming City crystals off to the right there.
Before.
I definitely feel like there's some aspects of the Pale Heart where
This is London. Yeah, so this is very Marsy.
Weird and scary. I want to take that risk. I want to push a little bit of what expectations of
I wonder if they're gonna make this like IOE here.
What destination can be, and I hope that players love that.
As players progress, they get to see more influence of the Witness, not just on the Traveler, but also on the races that it's interacted with that we've seen so far.
Yeah, so this is very Dreaming City-ish. This is Europa-ish.
The Dread are a result of the
That's in the tower.
experimenting with the light. So while it's inside the
This next part where they do the sound design is ridiculous.
part, it's able to access the light as it's trying to siphon it. It is using that light to create and alter new and different combatants. And so we've encountered some of these members before. Now we have a name for them.
The new Dread units. They're using a new language, collaborating with narrative. We went through and used this constructed language tool to generate different phrases and figure out like grammar structures and other things. The pyramid language that the new Dread units speak is actually translatable. So players, if they're really interested in figuring out what the pyramid units are saying, could decipher these. Kos yen itget, baktoku vakad. The husks are an interesting addition to Destiny.
That's
because
absurd.
we've never fought anything like them before.
We talked about, oh yeah, they need some big weapons. Like, it needs to look like this thing is serious business. They wanted a bit of a secondary unit on it, so like a 2-in-1. As the sketches were progressing, we were kind of like, oh, this feels like it's sentient. And we just love the idea.
We had all these different sound effects in our library of water bladders that make some really cool sounds when they're shaken. We used some sounds of slapping jello too. So that was kind of the foundation for
Disgusting.
us. We have all these real physical sounds that come together and it feels like an alien moving around in the stomach of this thing.
That is
the collaboration.
They're like, oh yeah, we don't really want to do body horror. But this enemy literally just has a fucking swimming inside, gushing thing in its tummy, bro.
Between the different disciplines and the trust we have for each other. At the end, it comes out better than anybody could have made individually.
This is a cool cutscene too. More in the tower stuff, and it looks like it's probably us in the tower, or a representative guardian or something in the tower. This is really cool. I wonder, this might actually be part of that same intro Lightbird cutscene where it's like the ghosts are born and then there were guardians and then the guardians are now dying.
There's a moment where you realize, looking at the final shape, that it's not just a story about the guardians.
Oh, maybe not, because there's Fallen there.
It's also kind of the story of Destiny's journey. It starts in place of uncertainty.
So like this.
And challenge, and then it changes.
I would be shocked if we don't have that like same exact moment again.
Changes and evolves, and it proceeds forward into the unknown. And as you get closer to the final shape, those two experiences converge. We know where we're going. We know where we're aiming for.
I feel very confident about the love and the work and the thoughtfulness that everyone working on this release put into it. And I think it's inevitable that when people start going in and experiencing all these different things that make up this expansion, I think they're gonna see it.
I won't lose another soldier in this war.
I mean, he does such a good job of Zavala. At the end you can kind of tell, but the first half of that phrase,
I won't lose another soldier.
Yeah, until he hits the word soldier, I couldn't have told you that was a different person. That first I won't lose another sounds so much like Lance. And then it's like once you get to the more guttural sounds, you can kind of tell. But it's like, it is such a good replacement.
In this war.
Also, this is sick. Scream! Oh yeah, it's our I didn't even notice that. Our ship just fucking blows up. Put on your worst ships to go into the campaign. Do not don't have your 1,000 wings on. Don't have any rare ships. Piece of trash ship for the first mission, okay? That's so fucking funny, actually. Holy. That's so funny. Oh, that's so good, actually. Wow, wow. Okay. So that's the Vidoc. Incredible. Keith David deserves a praise, but I think Brett Dalton as the witness is underrated. He's great. I'm really wondering if, like... So do you think they just took his voice and pitch shifted it a bunch? Or do you think there's like 5 people that record those lines? I'm so excited for the second Vidoc tomorrow. We have... I guess we can look at the TWAB now. So let's talk about this. We do get part 2 of the Vidoc tomorrow at 12 Eastern. I'll already have left, so we'll watch this on Sunday when I get back. It looks like this one's going to be a lot more action oriented, a lot more about, you know, new enemies and new abilities and stuff. So, I'm pretty excited. Looks great. Looks great. Hunter, yep. So there's the cutscene from, let's watch it again. Hey, spoilers if you haven't done the final mission, of the season yet. This is the final cutscene. Surely most of you, if not all of you, have seen this. That's a pretty funny little... What a good cutscene, dude. I wish I had that much time to react to a trip mine grenade in Crucible.
You died. So did you.
Ah, baller. Oh, you can see the tower. I didn't notice. You can see the tower over here on the left. When they,
Yeah, I don't have to call you Prince anymore, do I?
Oh, maybe, yeah, you can see the towers, like, right. It's kind of in the distance. Here. So that's the tower right there. That's sick, man. You want that ornament on Ace? Don't we get it for pre-ordering? Did I make that up? I guarantee we will get that ornament. I would be floored if we do not get that. Oh, did I just close the TWAB? Oh, fuck. Okay, sorry. Oops. Let me reopen the TWAB real quick. Man, what a good cutscene. Bungie is killing it. Okay. So no love for YouTube, but new emblem stuff. The new raid with the final shape will take the fight to the witness and prevent its calamitous plans to end the world as we know it. The stakes are at their highest, and fire teams around the globe will compete and test their might to be the first group that completes the raid to take home the coveted world's first belt. I will be streaming. We will be competing for world's first. I'm very excited. We want to celebrate such an occasion properly, so in partnership with Twitch Rivals, we will have a world's first race broadcast, covering some of the streamers participating in the race. If you're a creator looking to be part of the event, sign up, start today. And will be open June 3rd. Registered and approved creators will be provided following exclusive Twitch drops while the world's first race is taking place. Yeah, so we have that's a sick emblem. You just have to watch 2 hours. You have 2 hours out of 48 hours to get this. It's pretty sick. And then same thing, if you watch 2 hours of any Twitch Rivals person, you get this one. So you actually don't have to watch anyone else but me, just saying. You could just watch it the day after, but that's fine. It's whatever, it's fine. That's fine, you know what I mean? Yeah, internet issues do seem to be resolved. Fingers crossed. Next week, so currently in the game right now, it appears that tokens and guns are double drops active across the game, or very widely increased drops across the game. Starting next week, not only do we get double tokens and double gun drops, but the drop rate of shiny weapons will also be doubled. So you are effectively quadrupling your chance of getting a shiny weapon in the same amount of time. So that starts at reset. And I would highly recommend farming your nuts off, or whatever genitalia you have, farm them off. Okay. Very excited for this. I still need a couple good shinies, and so yeah, we're gonna be looking for that. There's tuning, which we'll take a look at here in a second. Pathfinder. They finally talk about Pathfinder. Pathfinder is a brand new pursuit system we are introducing to Destiny 2 that consolidates bounties, patrols, and weekly vendor challenges into one streamlined system you can access anytime, anywhere via the Director. Different Pathfinders can be accessed from relevant screens of the Director by selecting the Pathfinder node or using a hotkey for quick and easy access to this system. So here you go. Very curious to see what sort of challenges we have going on here. When you open a Pathfinder, you will be presented with 20 objectives divided into 5 tiers, leading to every Guardian's favorite thing, big shiny loot. To reach said loot, you must I'm interested to see what the loot looks like too. Is this like an exotic engram? Is this just a prime engram? I think the first time they tease the system, yeah, it's a prime engram. I'm hoping it's a little bit more than that, but we'll see. And claim them to form a path from the leftmost tier to the right. It's also a little confusing because they label. Oh, I guess there's. Never mind. That's fine. Ignore me. It shows in the text below. Oh, I have not read this yet. Lost 8 exotic engrams, doing 50 away from the amount of guns and engrams I got. That's good and bad. Sorry. Every time you claim an objective, you will receive rewards, progressing your path towards the final reward and opening new potential paths. Building a path to the final reward allows you to claim it, and claiming the final reward opens a new opportunity, resetting your Pathfinder. Resetting your Pathfinder costs Glimmer, but will give you a new set of objectives to complete and a new final reward to pursue. These new cards are built using a mixture of authorial control and procedural generation, so once you start resetting, your cards will diverge from those of other Guardians. As long as you will still have the Glimmer to do so, you can continue to reset Pathfinder cards after claiming final rewards as many times as you'd like each week, but the value of the final reward will diminish with resets of your card to a point. However, with every weekly reset, the value of the final rewards will also reset. Your objective progress will be lost, and every Guardian will start the week with the same fresh card. So I foresee, at least for the first couple of weeks, if we're really interested in getting that loot, maybe me making a video on, hey, just pick these, take this path, you can knock this out in 20 minutes or whatever to get this reward. So that's something I'll be looking for and looking to do if the rewards are worth it and if we need them. Where is Pathfinder? The final shape will launch with 2 Pathfinders, one available to all Guardians that replaces the bounty system and weekly challenges for our core ritual activities. And then the second one is one you will unlock in the Pale Heart as part of the expansions campaign. The Rituals Pathfinder provides you with a set of objectives that spans all of our ritual activities. Vanguard Strikes, Nightfalls, Onslaught. I love that they're including Onslaught as part of a ritual activity, and I really hope that means it gets consistent updates like most of the other ritual activities that are not Gambit. Gambit's in here as well. And Crucible. Some of these objectives can be completed in any of these activities, while others will require you to dive into specific ritual or modes. An update later in the year in the final shape will make it even easier to get to these ritual screens while you're in their activities, as well as make it easier to access the Rituals Pathfinder. While we don't want to reveal too much about the new destination, you can expect the kinds of objectives in the Pale Heart Pathfinder to roughly align with what you would see from Destination Bounties, with the addition of some new location-based objectives called Field Assignments. When field assignments are featured on your Pathfinder, you can expect to see them marked directly on the destination map, where you can track them and take advantage of our waypoint system to help navigate to their location. I'm hoping those are kind of like random events, right? Not really like public events, but if you think of like a game like RuneScape where you're just walking around and then like bam, some shit happens. I'm hoping that these are kind of like that, where you reset your card and then it's like, oh, I got a field assignment in the Pale Heart, and then it's like a unique encounter or like slightly unique area or something. I think that would be really sick. We'll have to wait and see if that's what that really is like. So this kills bounty prep? No. What? No, it's literally just for the Pale Heart. And then the ritual activities. But I already made a video about which bounties to save and stuff. So nothing changes. If you have seen both of my bounty prep videos and you have the most up-to-date version of the spreadsheet, nothing changes. Keep on going. Do you actually think the final shape will be good or not? Yeah, of course. Look, if Into the Light is any indication, they are cooking. They're cooking. Oh, future bounty preps. Yeah. Hopefully this will work to kind of displace those, but there's a lot of bounties in the game. And to be honest, I don't really ever expect them to replace, like, why would they go back and make a Pathfinder system for Europa? You know what I mean? I feel like old bounties are probably safe across the board, as long as they're not ritual activities, but we'll see. Why is Pathfinder? When we set out to build Pathfinder, we had 4 core goals. The first goal was consolidation. Destiny 2 is an enormous game that has evolved constantly over the last decade. Many pursuit systems have been added to the game over time, and these systems are accessed in a myriad of different ways that make it difficult for Guardians, experienced or not, to understand what they can be given or doing at any given point in time. We set out to build one system that has the capability of aligning all of these into one cohesive UI that you can always access from wherever you are. Our second goal is to give players more agency. Bounty systems in Destiny 2 typically let Guardians pick from a handful of fixed bounties that reset each day and provide repeatable bounties for those who wish to further engage with the system. These limited choices result in a system that feels prescriptive about how you should play instead of putting you in control. Yo, thank you, GamerJ, for the sub. We want Guardians to feel ownership over their engagement with these systems, with the ability to start or to chart a course that matches the goals of their play session. It could be interesting. And notice how it has XP plus. So I think that's the equivalent of a daily bounty. Because weeklies are XP plus, right? Yeah. Yeah. So they are worth a similar amount of XP. So that's kind of curious. I'm interested to see more about that. Who is Pathfinder? I don't think they say that one. With that in mind, our third goal was making decisions matter a bit more. Our existing pursuit system consisted largely of disconnected individual objectives that have no effect on each other. In many cases, a Guardian's decision regarding those objectives is limited to doing or not doing a particular objective or spending Glimmer to reroll repeatable bounties they don't like. Pathfinder's path-based system incentivizes Guardians to complete objectives that may otherwise be out of their comfort zone to achieve a more direct path to their final reward. It also allows Guardians to forge a more elongated path around objectives that don't call out to them. As their options diminish closer to the final reward, Guardians will be challenged to engage with a particular activity, mode, or playstyle to acquire more rewards. And finally, our fourth goal was to reduce barriers because, let's face it, much of our time as Guardians is spent zipping between destinations to prepare to play the game. Flying to the tower, flying to the helm, flying to Europa, it all takes time that we should be spending fending off the Witness and thwarting its universe-threatening plan to enact the final shape. With Pathfinder, you already have your objectives, and they're always progressing as you play, whether they are locked or unlocked. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. I didn't notice that, but yeah, you can complete objectives that you aren't even on. That's sick. There's no need to visit a vendor or to use the Destiny app to grab bounties, no need to balance your inventory of quests or bounties, and no need to travel to vendors to claim your reward for a weekly challenge. About the destination Pathfinder. The rewards are designed to encourage completing as many paths over many objectives in each Pathfinder. If you want to maximize your weekly rewards, your best bet is to plan your optimal path. Reward objective: 25 vendor reputation, 4,000 XP. Path completion, your first time you complete it, you get an exotic. What does it mean, redacted exotic? That's really interesting. Does that mean like new exotic? We do not know anything about new power levels yet. New pinnacle is 2010. How do we know that? Did they already say that? Maybe they did say that and I forgot. I don't think they've talked about it yet though. Yeah, the way to get the new exotics. Yeah. Powerful tier 3 engram, 1 rank of vendor reputation, 25,000 XP. The second time you complete it, you still get a new exotic. You get a focusable pale heart engram. You get less reputation, 25,000 XP. Your third path, you get another engram for the pale heart. Less XP, 25,000 XP, and then path completion rewards 1 through 3. So I don't know why that still says 1 through 3, but I assume this is like every other time you repeat it, then you just get some vendor reputation. Honestly, it doesn't really seem worth it past the second one, to be honest. They showed 2010 in the live streams before. I thought it was because of a dev build. Yeah, never ever take dev light or light in dev builds to be fact. We don't know that for sure. They already stated power level and caps. They stated it? They told us in the share, how did I miss this? Wait, is that today's? Yeah, it's today's. Is it this one? I don't know, where do they talk about fireteam power? I might be... That was 2 ago. Is it this one? I guess they talk about... I have literally no idea. Oh, it was a while ago? I did feel like it wasn't that long ago. Now we're talking about power. It's gotta be this one. How power works in the final shape. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We got it. Fire team power. Power bands. Yes. Okay. Power floor is 1900. What are we now? 18. 1810 is max right now. So we're going from 1810 to 1900 is the new floor. Sorry. 1900 is the floor. Soft cap is 1940. Whoever, someone say 2010? It's not 2010. It's powerful cap is 1990. Pinnacle cap is 2000. It's not 2010. It's 2000. It's 2000. Cool. That's good to know. So we start at 1900 and then you only need to get to 1990. That'll be super easy. Don't worry about that. Okay. Calibrations directly replace bounties, the most common objective category on the Pale Heart Pathfinder. Example objectives in the Pale Heart: defeat combatants of a certain faction or defeat combatants using weapons that match your subclass type. Fair enough. Field assignments. Players must go to locations in the Pale Heart and complete a custom encounter. That's literally what I said. I did not read this. That only appears while the objective is active. In the Pale Heart, travel to Redacted and claim a reward for defeating Redacted. Fair enough. Ventures, destination-focused activities and objectives. They spelled objectives wrong. Only 2 per Pale Heart Pathfinder and only appear in the tier before the final reward. And the Pale Heart progress through blank activity and loot the chest. Completing the blank objective grants additional power. Okay. Now let's talk about ritual activities. Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard vendor bounties will be replaced by a unified Rituals Pathfinder. A single instance of Pathfinder will contain objectives specific to each ritual activity, as well as generic objectives that can be completed in any of the 3. And additionally, on weeks where there's an active reputation booster, the first 3 instances of Pathfinder will contain more objectives associated with that ritual activity. That's kind of cool. Completing an objective node awards experience, like individual bounty completion. Completing a path is designed to be akin to completing a weekly vendor challenge. Sick. First 3 completions: Prime Engram, Enhanced Prism, 150 Bright Dust, and 25,000 XP. Then the next 7 completions, holy shit. They really expect people to be zooming through these. Enhancement Prism, 150 Bright Dust, 4,000 XP. Subsequent completions: Enhancement Core, 30 Bright Dust, 4,000 XP. There we go. So I'm interested to see how this plays. I'm excited for this. But we'll have to see. I do like the idea of not having to, because if I'm not bounty prepping, I never pick up bounties. It is such a waste of time to fly back and forth, and I hate even using the app. So they're changing some UI stuff. I'm not really I don't really care too much about this, to be honest. So I'm going to skip a lot of that. Use your legendary shards, and then the final Pantheon bosses. And then there's this awesome poster that they're putting out. They collaborated with an awesome artist. It looks sick, bro. Really cool. So hey, Displate, hit me up with that sponsorship. I'll promote the shit out of this. This is sick. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, and there's 24 hours of downtime. Destiny 2 will be brought offline the Monday before the final shape on June 3rd. Players will be reminded of the downtime in the game. And then I think they said there's a preload too, right? Didn't they say there's a preload? Did I miss that? I feel like I saw someone on Twitter talk about that or something. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. And all players will be able to pre-download the final shape during this time, no matter what platform. Be advised, it will be a large file to download and install. There you go. Read the last paragraph in the Nez lore in the TWAB. Last paragraph. Is this the Nez lore? Okay. Much that is known about Nezarec is derived from anecdotal experiences, engaging fireteam raids, and a tome recovered from the golden age that was entitled The Hate of Nezarec. That one? Oh, the first one? Created from Rolk's imprint, Nezarec was the first tormentor from which all others owe their lineage. Nezarec relishes in sowing fear and pain, feeding off terror of sentient beings. He can induce nightmares across worlds. That's kind of cool that he is created from Rolk. Mithrax, Kel of House Light, is currently afflicted with Nezarec's curse. Despite Nezarec being destroyed, this occurred when the Kel led an effort to recover Nezarec's scattered remains. He wants to distill Nezarec's body essence, or Nezarec's essence, into a mentally reviving elixir while siphoning the corruptive elements into himself. Attempts to dispel or cure this curse are ongoing. Oh. Mithrax is fucking screwed, bro. Shit, brother. All right, so that's the TWAB. 2 out of 4 done. Dev Insights Armor Tuning Preview. Okay, I'm gonna skip all the extra stuff here because I'm gonna lose my fucking voice if I read everything. Our existing armor and mods were originally released into a world where each subclass was only ever a single element. Since that will no longer be true with the release of the final shape, we've taken a pass through our existing gear. For the most part, this meant updating exotic armor and armor mods, referencing to a player's equipped super element instead of specific subclass. This allows their effects to function on Prismatic without changing their behavior on the original subclass. For example, the Titan Exotic Hoarfrost Z will require a Stasis super to be equipped rather than the full Stasis subclass. We've also taken the opportunity to update the description of the Harmonic mods to better explain their behavior and to fully support Strand on Resistance mods. However, in a few places, we really want to make more meaningful changes. We've detailed them below along with our reasoning. Hunter, Triton Vice no longer requires a glaive. I have never once... I don't even know what the fuck Triton Vice does. Do I even have this exotic? Triton Vice. Okay, I have every exotic. Triton Vice. Increase glaive reload speed and melee damage when surrounded. Glaive melee final blows overload a round to the magazine. Glaive projectile final rounds detonate if the glaive deals more. Or detonate if the glaive deals damage matching your subclass type. Okay. Has anyone ever used that? Triton Vice no longer requires a glaive that matches your subclass to trigger its extra detonations. Given the limited pool of glaive options, we wanted to open this up to support a wider variety of builds. We also want to let the glaive and melee bonus linger for a bit after you stop being surrounded to add some ease of use. So glaive projectile final blows now always trigger a detonation that matches the glaive's damage type. The surrounded effect provided by Triton Vice while wielding a glaive now lingers on the player for 5 seconds. I've never seen a single person ever use that exotic. That is your main exotic armor piece. It is pretty sick, Caleb, to be the only person that uses an exotic. I've got to say, that's pretty sick, actually. Hey, if it works, though, and it just got better for you, so let's go. Dragon Shadow has been updated to trigger its effects when you use Ensnaring Slam or the new Ascension Arc aspect, opening up more build crafting combinations. Foe Tracer, I noticed here, so we're going to talk about the ability tuning here in a second. They went really hard with the ability tuning. A lot of the exotic armor is a lot more tame, which I did not expect. I expected them to really neuter a lot of stuff. and they didn't. For instance, they don't even mention Lucky Pants, and I think Lucky Pants are probably like pound for pound top 3 exotics in the game right now, maybe even best. They're pretty broken, and the fact that they're not getting touched at all is really interesting. So pretty interesting. Foe Tracer now grants the bonus damage it inflicts on a target to weapons, the damage type that also matches that of the ability used to damage the target, instead of always matching your equipped subclass. With Prismatic, you can apply a variety of different damage elements with your abilities, and this change allows for Foe Tracer to buff multiple different weapon damage types instead of just the one that matches your subclass or super element. We wanted to add an additional benefit to the 6 Coyote along with the Armamentarium, since otherwise the Spirit of Coyote perk on the new exotic class item would have granted the same benefits as the original exotic. We took inspiration from Claws of Ahamkara and decided that the ability for the 6 Coyote to create orbs from final blows after using your class ability. So that's kind of cool. So you get Reaper for free. Renewal Grasps have been updated to grant the new Frost Armor Stasis keyword instead of Bestoke damage reduction effect. Upon entering your Dusk-Fueled Grenade volume, you or your allies gain a stack of Frost Armor. About every 0.9 seconds, an additional stack is granted, resetting your timer. I'm very curious about Frost Armor. We'll read about that here in a second. Remember, they can always blanket nerf it. Yeah, I just feel like they would have talked about it, though. Don't want to be an ass about this, but I was hoping for a few more cool buffs. The nerfs are all fine, but there's still so many things left that could use a buff. It's kind of hard, like, especially when the raid is 3 days after launch. I bet they are concerned about accidentally buffing something too much and not having time to fix it or identify it, right? Like, the last thing you want to do is break something, not give everyone time to learn that it's broken, and then like only a handful of teams have like a distinct advantage, right? So I kind of get it if that's what they're going for. But I think for the most part, like a lot of the game's in a pretty good balanced scenario. I feel like they didn't nerf a lot of things too. Like I mentioned, like Lucky Pants, I feel like could have been reined in. The Cenotaph nerf isn't even that bad. I expected a lot more. The Worm Gauntlets, Worm Gods, I expected those to be nerfed pretty heavily too, and they're not. So yeah, man. I don't know. Star Eater scales have always been a strong exotic, but now they increase the orbs of power required to gain maximum benefits from 4 to 6, so it's a little harder to get that maximum damage, and reduce the increased super energy gain per orb of power when the golden gun is equipped. So only golden gun, and that's just because people were chaining golden guns. There will almost certainly be another thing found here. So Titan, we updated Ursa Furiosa to improve with the new Void aspect. Unbreakable, in addition to its previous effects, now provides increased movement speed while guarding with Unbreakable. So Unbreakable is when you use your, I think it is your class ability, you consume it, you have a moving shield, you absorb damage, and then when the shield breaks, it does the damage outward. Pretty cool. I think that'll be really fucking annoying in PvP. Also grants super energy for guarding with Unbreakable. This energy scales based on the amount of incoming damage. So I think that'll be a very powerful thing in PvE and PvP probably. Eternal Warrior no longer requires an arc subclass for arc final blows to grant its escalating arc weapon damage bonus. This allows it to synergize with prismatic builds more easily. Like the 6 Coyote, Armamentarium was updated with an additional benefit and now creates orbs of powers from grenade final blows. That's kind of interesting as well. Sunbracer nerf was expected, but still hurts. I expected it to get hit a little bit more, but it does hurt a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I like Sunbracers a lot. I like, Caprice Horn was feeling lackluster in many situations, so we increased the potency of its Solar Blast. They increased the damage 100% PvE. The Solar Blast now scorches each time it hits a target instead of scorching only once. Caprice Horn now benefits from Ember of Eruption and Ember of Ashes. So I kind of expect to see 6 Titans ignite and explode, or, scorch and ignite a boss and kill a boss with only Titan Shields now. I kind of want to see that. Heart of Inmost Light's buffs on the HUD could easily crowd out other important information. We felt that could be less verbose, so now it displays a single consolidated status effect. So that's kind of cool. Synthoceps got nerfed, reduced the amount of time that biotic enhancements lingers after no longer being surrounded. This is really another nerf to the Strand Titan, which is good because that subclass is fucking ridiculously broken. So, yo, Lab, what's up, man? Severance Enclosure. This is pretty weird. Is a particularly noisy exotic when it comes to blasting enemies around the battlefield. We want to alleviate some of the noise and awkwardness around the explosions to better bring them in line with our other area of effect exotics. Its explosions now require line of sight to damage enemies. We also reduce the knockback intensity of these explosions, which will now launch enemies more consistently vertically. Does anyone use this exotic? Very strange. Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of weird changes here. Like, I feel like that's overall a nerf, but I've never seen a single person with that exotic on, you know? About to hopefully get my Godslayer. Hey, you got this, brother. Good luck, man. Severance was quite good. Are you serious? I really don't think I've seen a single person use it. I don't know, maybe. Fair enough, Lab. For Warlock, Mantle of Battle Harmony has been adjusted to grant more super energy for defeating powerful enemies. This is another one like it's arc, so it's like people don't really use arc. So maybe maybe this one will help that a little bit, but I'm a little skeptical. Battledor's Wrath Weavers. I'm excited for this because Stasis is about to get a lot better, right? So Battledor's has been updated to grant the new Frost Armor Stasis keyword instead of the Stasis Shard Overshield. Activating your Rift grants you and nearby enemies the maximum Frost Armor stacks when Frost Pulse is equipped. Activating your Winter's Wrath Shatter attack grants nearby enemies the maximum amount of Frost Armor. That is pretty sick. When your Winter's Wrath ends, you gain maximum stacks of Frost Armor. I think that sort of thing, like, it's always been like a very good crowd control super. That's pretty good for granting your teammates survivability as well. And Shatter, I believe, is about to do a lot more damage. So this could be a pretty viable like mini boss option here. I'm really curious to see that. Mantle is an arc. It works on everything. Oh, let me read it real quick. I was under the impression Mantle was only arc, but I have also not really used it. Takedowns with weapons have a damage type matching your subclass element. Oh, there you go. Grants you super energy. When your super energy is full, you instead gain a temporary bonus to weapon damage of the type matching your subclass element. That could be really good, actually. And what was the buff they just did to it? Sorry. Now grants super energy. Oh yeah, more super energy. So that could actually be really fucking good as like a neutral play exotic. Now that you brought that up, huh? It's pretty good. It's a 4 times weapon search, so it does like a lot of damage too. Interesting. Use it on Arc with Forbearance, it's over, or Strand with Tusk of the Boar. That could be really powerful. Or yeah, Stasis with Aegers, or I mean, there's a lot of options here. That's really interesting. Mantle's part of the class item, so it could go hard. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, just a class item that gives you a higher passive. Oh yeah, like imagine like, okay, you have Mantle of Battle Harmony on your class item. You're using Sunshot and you have the new Solar Super with like Apex, right? So you're buffing, you get your super faster because you match elements, and then when you have your super, then you gain ×4 surge stacks for your Apex. That could be really fucking good. Something I'm gonna keep in mind there. Sequence Filaments Empowering Rift now resets a player's existing Devour buff duration back to 11 seconds when they enter it. Okay. Verity's Brow now requires final blows with the weapon matching your grenade damage type instead of one matching your equipped subclass. Some bracers did get a little bit of a nerf. Reduce the increased solar grenade duration from 4 to 2, but they increase the charge rate. So you get it for fewer amount of seconds. But now you get 4 grenades instead of 5. So essentially, before you could kind of like snap, and then you could like throw a grenade and meander and throw a grenade and meander. Now it's going to have to be pretty deliberate, like, you know, you're just going to have to get it out. Cenotaph also got a slight nerf, and I would argue this is more of a bug fix than anything. So you could, before, if there was one enemy, like Yellow Bar, 2 Warlocks could tag it, and then a third person would kill it. And then that third person, we had 2 ammo blocks, and then both of the Cenotaphs would get the other person's ammo block. So it was pretty broken. This makes sense. Multiple players using Cenotaph no longer trigger its effect for using a single enemy target. I do not like this next change. Cenotaph's target lock visual marker is now hidden for the exotic's wearer. I really like being able to see when I have successfully marked an enemy. I don't know why they really got rid of that. I don't know if it was like a visual clutter thing, but I think that's actually a really useful thing to have. So, but yeah, Cenotaph is still going to be essential in the day one. And if you can stack like a Cenotaph and an Aeons or something, I mean, it's going to be essential for sure. They'll still be highlighted. Yeah, that's a good point. I really liked that marker, so. But this change makes a lot of sense. I mean, it was pretty broken. We were using Cenotaph day one on Deathsinger, and I mean, we had literally unlimited heavy. I remember using heavy to clear ads, doing damage, and then still having max heavy going into the next phase. This might be a stupid question. Nah, you're good. But do healing instances stack? Like in the final shape, would healing from the well stack with healing from a rift? No. Rift stuff gets completely overridden by a well. But in a well, you have restoration times 2 now. So all healing sources that I can think of that are restoration, they max out at restoration 2, whereas a well used to be restoration 3. So now no, things aren't going to stack. What will kind of stack is if you have cure and restoration at the same time. So what grants cure? Like Phoenix Dive. If I have restoration in a well and then I Phoenix Dive, I still will get that cure boost of health. So in order, I'm sure there's some exceptions to this because there always are, but for the most part, at the very least, restoration sources don't stack. Cure sources, I guess you don't really have an opportunity for them to stack. Like I can get you can get 2 healing grenades, right? That sort of thing. So cures kind of stack. You can pick up, they can proc multiple times. I don't think there's a cooldown. Restoration don't. As far as I'm aware. Healing nades are cure, yes. Powered melee and armor effects. The term powered melee was always intended to mean spending a melee charge. However, subclass elements like combination blow or knockout would allow players to circumvent this cost. This makes it difficult to balance the potency of effects that require to power melee. We want to standardize this better across the sandbox, and we're starting by updating Severance Enclosure and Assassin's Cowl to only trigger their effects when a player spends a melee charge to get a final blow. We plan on rolling this type of change out to more content that triggers powered melee in future updates. Lumina inside well. Lumina is not restoration, it is cure, so that will work. And does well give resto or does it give healing equivalent to resto 2? I believe they said it gives restoration 2, if I'm not mistaken. They have not said anything about a tessellation in it. They have not said anything about anything that consumes or prioritizes a grenade in relation to your Transcendent Grenade. So I'm curious about that. Exotic Artifice upgrades. This is sick. So now exotic armor can be upgraded after it has been fully masterworked, granting it an Artifice mod slot. This comes at the cost of an exotic cipher and 10,000 glimmers. So almost certainly they're going to have to give us more ways to get exotic ciphers. But exotic Artifice slots are a huge W. That's really cool. They say matching restoration times 2. I would be shocked if it doesn't give you restoration times 2, but it could be wrong. They did say tessellation will match your grenade. They said your Transcendent Grenade, it'll match? Ammo finder updates. This is really cool as well. So if you guys don't know, the way ammo finders work, you have to get X number of kills. So it's the fewest number of kills with primaries, a little bit more with special, a lot more with heavy. But right now how it works is if say it's like 14 or 16 kills or something to get heavy with a primary weapon. But if you die, that resets. So they're changing that. So if you die, it no longer resets. You'll have more ammo all around, which I think is pretty cool. Raid armor mods are not going to cost anything to equip. And then conclusion, that's everything we have for this update. We're excited to see these changes in the final shape, and we'll be listening to your feedback to get some as you get some new time with these. So overall, some pretty interesting changes. Nothing too major. I think the biggest nerf is probably Cenotaph, but even then, not really that big of a nerf. So waiting on that Zur update. Yeah, I would be shocked if... I think the Zur update's going to give you, like, the enhanced... or, like, more exotic cipher sources or something, so... So, you know what's crazy? I was just thinking about... last night, the exotic should have another slot once Masterworked. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool change. It's a cool change. And it's good, because, I mean, I've definitely ran into that a lot of times. Where I've been very frustrated that they don't have those artifice mods. So I'm excited to get those. The knockout combination nerf is really huge. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that plays. Luckily on both of those, you can get your melee back pretty easily. So I'm a Godslayer, 48 years old, get good. At Scaro9, thanks for being a guy. That's a dude. Dude, let's go. The world's almost deceased Godslayer at 48 years old. Enjoy retirement, buddy. No, I'm just messing, man. That's awesome. Congratulations on Godslayer for real. I wanted a Skull of Dire Ahamkara buff. That's a pretty... I feel like, you know, those... exotics that no one use, I feel like much more often than not get buffed in the seasons or now episodes and not big expansions, but we'll see. So yeah, exotic artifice change makes you now able to make a build with the 4 artifice mods that we have right now, freeing up your class item. So in case you get a raid class item day 1, you can use the mods ASAP. Exotic artifice changes make a build that has the 4 artifice raid mods we have right now, freeing up your class items. So in case you get a... Oh, yeah. I see. That's a good point as well. That's a good point. I see. Yeah, Scare, assuming the new exotics aren't broken, what do you think will be the best exotic to bring in the raids for Titans? I think Strand Titan's still gonna be fucked, bro. I am, let's see. They did some Saint 14 changes, which we'll talk about in a second. I don't think Bubble's really gonna be that useful, but I would love to see Bubble be useful. But the most, so for Titan, what would I bring in? I mean, pretty much anything that's good now. I think Synthos are still going to be very, very, very good. Titans are always kind of our go-to for Aeons as well. Because I feel like a lot of time, most Titan, maybe not most, but a lot of exotic pieces that you would wear for Titan are very neutral game. And so Aeons fits into that very well. Oh, Pyrogale. I forget. Thank you for pointing that out, Wabi. Yeah, Pyrogale. Yeah, Curious is good. I'm not really a big fan of Thunder Crash in day 1s. I feel like more times than not, it gets you into very dangerous situations. There's obvious, like, in a Crota type example, Curious could work really well, for sure. I feel like a lot of times, if you get that close to a boss, it's pretty dangerous. So... I'm not a huge advocate for Thunder Crash in a lot of very difficult content, including day 1s. Obvious exceptions to that. I think Pyrogale is a great shout as well. But like I said, Aeons are usually, I try to push for those on Titans. Because exotics tend to, most good Titan exotics are arms anyways, so it's a quick hot swap. And then it's very neutral game with most exotics too. Or super based, which you can just hot swap back to, you know what I mean? So I am very interested though, that being said, very curious to see the new Ursa changes here. Could be pretty good. if it gains super energy, with Unbreakable, what is the? I assume it's the new. Yeah, it's the new Void. So it's the new Void Super on Prismatic, but you can still use any Void Super and use Unbreakable, right? Because Unbreakable is a class ability. So, or it's an aspect. It might be an aspect. I don't remember. It might be an aspect that uses your class ability. Either way, you know, increased super energy with Bubble might go pretty fucking hard, actually. So, yeah, usually you don't have Synthos and damage is a big thing. Yeah, when I'm talking about Synthos, it's more of in neutral game. I'm talking more like a Death Singer type encounter where lots of ads. You're just on general ad clear, so you're just gonna have like a neutral game exotic, and then you would just switch off and go to Aeons instead. So, kind of what I had in the back of my mind. Aspect that uses your grenade. Thank you. Yes. Oh, it uses your grenade. I thought it was class ability. Okay, yeah. So it's your grenade, but still, even that, like that, depending on how much super energy, could be really good for something like a Bubble, or I know a lot of people have been really liking Dawn, or even the new super. You know, so. What do you think the chances people start putting bubbles behind well again? Is Bubble still 35% bonus damage? I'm trying to think why you would do that. But I think Bubble, yeah, it does have a higher damage bonus, doesn't it? Maybe? Does it have, did they normalize those? I haven't been in a fucking raid team with Bubble in so fucking long. You know what I mean? It's 25. They're the same. Just to get the Void Overshield. No, fuck that. If you want a Void Overshield in a well, just use a class ability. Yeah, honestly, Bubble should be 35%. If you want, Bubble has been so power creeped, but no, I don't think so, man. I think if you really, really, really want that Void Overshield, you're just going to use the Towering Barricade, put it behind your teammates, then you don't have to waste a super on it. Yeah, you can just pop your Barricade and then use the new super and do damage with an Overshield. So whatever. I think Bubble's been like super hyper power creeps. I think there are very specific examples where Bubble could be really good if you have to like protect something, or it's just a ridiculous amount of enemies and you just have to stand on a plate or something. But I mean, Bubble, it's just been kind of power creeped, you know. It's definitely a Destiny 1 super, that is for sure. Eternal Warrior. Oh, sorry, I forgot that we already read that. All right, Stasis stuff. Once again, I'm gonna skip a lot of the pleasantries. Frost Armor is a stacking buff that reduces incoming damage with greater damage reduction as your stacks increase. At launch, Frost Armor will be granted from a variety of sources, including the Tectonic, Grim, Glacial, Harvest aspects. I'm so fucking worried about this. Because there were, for a long time, that build right there was very disgusting in PvP, and I'm not sure how this interacts with it. I don't remember the exact values, but so fragments and exotic armor. By default, you can build to a maximum number of 5 stacks of frost armor that lasts 9 seconds. But with the newly reworked Whisper of Rime fragment, frost armor's maximum lifetime increased to 13 seconds and can build to a maximum of 8 stacks. Disgusting. Unlike the Stasis Shard Overshield, Frost Armor remains active when your super is cast, though its effectiveness is significantly lower while your super is active. New Frost Armor keyword: you are fortified by layers of durable stasis matter, increasing or reducing incoming damage. So what's the cryoseps? What's the gauntlets for Hunter or for Titan? Icefall mantles. Surely this will get that. They might have even already said that, but surely this will just give you frost armor, and they're just simplifying it. I've skimmed this. I have not read this. So It's like a 10% damage reduction. Oh, I thought someone said it stacked up to... Sorry. Oh, yeah, enemy players only up to 16%. That's actually not that bad. They didn't say that? Okay, I would imagine that's what happens then. If they haven't already said that, I imagine it will be reworked. But, although if it was going to be reworked, surely they would have said that in the exotic armor tuning. Its overshield is way better than frost armor. It'd be a huge nerf if it got changed. What if you just popped it and it was like frost armor times 1 billion? Or whatever, you know? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess it is like it is a big thing. And then in PvE, most people are gonna get what, 22.5%? That's not bad. Up to 36. So that's pretty good. I'm trying to think of where I might. We've been talking a lot about Stasis Hunter being really good because of shatter dives, or shatter skates. So like this could be a good boon to that, depending on which aspects. And I play Stasis. I play Stasis a non-existent amount. Okay, so I don't really know off the top of my head what a lot of it does or what the current builds are. I'm excited to get back into it, but I think Stasis has been like by far the most underwhelming supers in PvE for a really long time. And the only reason I ever use Stasis is to Shatterskate. And PvP. I think a lot of Stasis is bad in PvP too. It's annoying to play against, but I feel like it's one and done. And its neutral game doesn't really feel that great, which I don't like. So Winter's Wrath gives your time 36 damage resist. No, I think Winter's Wrath would shoot everyone up to 5. By default. It would probably shoot them up to 8 if they were already running Whisper of Rime. But by default, I imagine it's just going to be 5 and it'll go up to, what do I say, like 22.5 damage resist, which is pretty good on top of a well. You know, if you pop this and you're using this as damage, because Shatter did get increased, we're going to talk about that here in a second. If the super does all, like any amount of damage at all, or you're using it for crowd control, you're giving your team 22.5% extra damage or damage resistance in a well, which just had its damage resistance nerfed, but gives you some. We'll talk about that here as well. And then, you know, the 30 is resilience 30% now? The 30%. Yeah, I think it is. I think it was 40, now it's 30. So still you can stack it really fucking high. So, yeah. Whisper of Rime reworked no longer grants a stasis shard overshield when collecting a stasis shard. Now increases the maximum duration and stack count of your frost armor. One last standing piece. A feedback is we've received is stasis shards felt too limited, requiring specific aspect to generate. Big true. I made a video about that. I made a very specific video about that exact thing. Because I think I made like the top 5 recent stasis sucks or something. That was probably over a year ago. Actually, I'm really curious when I made that video. I remember that. I don't remember any other point I made there. It was 8 months ago. And I literally made that exact point. That right there. So, because stasis shards are created for all allied players at once, it would be easy for the number of stasis shards on the field to spiral out of control if we were to make their creation intrinsic to the damage type. Instead, we're increasing the number of sources that players can build into to generate them. More on this shortly. And increasing their value when collected with the harvest aspect equipped. When Tectonic Grim or Glacial Harvest is equipped, in addition to their previous behavior, collecting any stasis shard now grants a small amount of health and a stack of frost armor. Alongside this increased potency, we're implementing a shared cooldown on rapid stasis shard creation. This cooldown is intended to be pretty generous and primarily limits cases of oppressive behavior like triple behemoth trial squats. Let's go. All harvest aspects add a new behavior. While Grim, Tectonic, or Glacial Harvest is equipped, Stasis Shards grant a small amount of health and a stack of Frost Armor. Large Stasis Shards from Grim Harvest grant more health and Frost Armor stacks. All Harvest aspects now have a standardized cooldown when a large number of shards are created very quickly. Tectonic Harvest now creates a Stasis Shard when shattering a frozen target in addition to shattering Stasis Crystals. Excuse me, holy, that was disgusting. Rewatching to see if they fix all the issues. That would actually be kind of fun. Let's do that. Someone did the math, and Squall would be as good as Blade Barrage. Yeah, I saw that as well. I'm very curious how the other supers stack up too. Renewal Grasp, we already talked about these. Whisper of Chill, Stasis Weapons, Final Blows have a chance to create a Stasis Shard. As part of this effort, we've also reworked Whisper of Chains. This fragment has been a popular choice since its inception due to its ease of use and stat bonuses. However, its gameplay benefit was frequently difficult to read and ran counter to core gameplay loops revolving around creating and destroying crystals. To make Whisper of Chains fully successful, it required cooperation with teammates in a way that sometimes took success out of the user's hands. This resulted in situations where, by shattering a Stasis Crystal for damage, players would unknowingly reduce their combat effectiveness. This introduced negative social friction. It's pretty much the same thing that happened with people who were running the Void Warmind cells. Stop destroying my Warmind cells! Next on our list of Frost Armor fragment reworks is Whisper of Fractures. No longer increases energy regeneration while surrounded by enemies. Now grants a stack of Frost Armor when you shatter any frozen target with a melee attack. I think that makes it just way worse. But we'll see. Whisper of Torment. Grenade energy gains are no longer dependent on your current health value. Base grenade energy regeneration amount per incoming damage event increased from 5 to 7, while you have Frost Armor energy per damage event increased from 7 to 12. That could be kind of fun. Especially, if you throw down a... what are the Hunter... We just read about them like 5 times. The Renewal Grasps. You throw down a Dust Grenade, so you have Frost Armor, and then you're also taking damage. That's kind of big. That's kind of cool. Could help you keep that grenade up constantly. Could be pretty good. Finally, we've created one more brand new Stasis Fragment. Whisper Reversal is a close combat tool for our Frost Armor users, adding chances for additional crowd control if you're willing to take the risk. While you have Frost Armor, dealing or receiving physical melee damage slows your victim or attacker. Should have been a stack of Frost Armor when you get a kill while surrounded. Requiring 2 abilities for 1 stack is not it. I think it's any melee though, right? It doesn't have to be charged melee, does it? Yeah, it's just a melee attack. It doesn't have to be a charged melee. So that helps a little bit. Renewal also heavily nerfs enemy damage if you are also in the Dusk Field. Yeah, this could be pretty strong. If you have a Hunter with Renewal Grasps, right, and you're in a well, and you're taking damage from like a boss, so like what's a boss that shoots you a lot during damage? Like a Caretaker or like a War... No, maybe not War Priest. What's like a really good example of a boss that shoots you a ton? Like an Oryx? Well, I guess you don't take damage from Oryx. Yeah, like Rolk. That's a really good example. Yeah, like a Rolk. Like, does Explicator, yeah, he gunnies you a little bit. Yeah, so you're in a well, you throw one of these down, you have constant. You're going. That could be kind of cool. Oh, Golgoroth is a great example too, yeah. Yeah, anything like that. Just... Huh. Could be kind of fun. Now let's talk Shatter. Well, we're just gonna skip that. Stasis Shatter increased base PvE shatter damage from 200 to 400, so does a little bit more. Increase an issue where boss auto shattering when being hit by 2 instances of shatter damage. Fix an issue where players in an active super would show immune damage flyouts when automatically breaking out of a stasis freeze. So yeah, I think Stasis, this is good. I'm glad Stasis is getting love because I think one of my things in my video was they actually needed new supers, actually. So, and it was I think the third thing, I think it was 3 things. I think the third thing was that stasis fragments on average gave you fewer slots, or stasis aspects gave you fewer fragment slots, I think was the last one. So this could be cool. I think there's going to be a lot of fun little strategies to work in here. So we'll have to wait and see. The problem is, though, if it's let's say it's a boss encounter, does renewal grasps and that survivability really outweigh like a lucky pants situation? I don't know. Warlock, Ice Flare bolts increase the number of seekers created before going on cooldown from 5 to 7. That's Shadebinders. Hunter, Winter Shroud added new behavior. Slowing targets briefly increases your class ability regeneration rates. Bonuses reduced in PvP game modes. Good. Now grants PvE damage reduction when activated. Kind of interesting. Touch of Winter. Glacier Grenade added an additional stasis crystal. So this is Touch of Winter boosts your grenade. It's like the boosting grenade aspect for Hunter stasis. So now you get 7 crystals instead of 6. And now it takes time to form as well. Cold Snap Grenade no longer chains an additional time while Touch of Winter is equipped. Great. Instead, Seekers now duplicate when they freeze a target. Second and third Seekers now chain to create a medium and large stasis crystal respectively, rather than every chain creating a small crystal. Shadebinder Warlocks walking out of every stasis tuning with a buff whilst already being the best stasis subclass. I don't really think any of them are good. So maybe it's best, but I think it's still bad. I think they all deserve buffs. Silence and Squall increase maximum travel speed by 10%. Squall Storm now slows down any target within its effective area and reduces instances where it could overshoot its targets. Increased damage by PvE and tick rate by about 40%. So that's the thing that's going to make it do so much damage right there. In addition to doing Shatter's doing twice as much damage now, and things are going to freeze twice or 40% faster. It's pretty good. It's going to be pretty good. Titan, Shiver Strike, I think is probably the worst melee in the entire... second worst melee in the entire game. The worst melee is the Void Warlock melee. That thing is awful. Second worst melee in the game is Shiver Strike. Increased damage versus PvE combatants by 10%. Increased size of melee target search area by about 50%. And also there's a tracking lunge speed that's been increased. Glacier Quake now automatically begins sprinting when the player throttles forward. Cryoclasm, I don't even know what that is. Oh, is this the uppercut? Okay. Remove sprint time requirement. Cryoclasm now goes on cooldown for 4 seconds after 1 extended slide. Oh, no. 1 second. What is Cryoclasm? They might disable Squall for the raid. Do you think? Maybe. Slide to shatter crystals. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. I forgot you had to sprint for that before. Good shout. Thank you. Diamond Lancers are really fun. I hope that these buffs help a little bit. Increased thrown diamond lance detonation radius from 3.5 to 5 meters. Slam detonation has been increased. Now shatter stasis crystals reduce it. You pick them up faster. And you can pick them up further as well from further away. So Diamond Lances are one of the most unique, fun aspects of any 3.0 subclass. They're just really not that good. So I hope these buffs help. I'm very curious to see some builds there. I feel like Stasis has the opportunity to be some of the most fun in the game. They're just bad. You know what I mean? Oh, AJ, that's like a really freaking good point. That's a crazy good point. Yeah. Back in November, we briefly touched on Well of Radiance and War of Dawn. Well of Radiance has been nerfed, thank you. Now grants Radiant... Oh, this is weird, though. So now, it's got the same damage buff that it gives you, 25%, I believe. But now, when you leave the well, for 8 seconds you get Radiance, which is that's crazy. That would be awesome on bosses like Rolk, or bosses like Golgoroth. Golgoroth falls off on the back half of damage because usually you have 2 or 3 wells, so like half the damage phase is covered. But now you could use like 1 well for 2 orbs, right? You just put it in the middle and you can run back and forth or whatever. This would be great for that. Heal on cast, so it heals you when you cast it. Your damage resistance is cut in half against regular enemies and cut in by 3/4. So now you only get 10% damage resistance. But once again, we talked about like frost armor, and I feel like a lot of this is to stop you from stacking. Like if you had the original 40% and then you drop frost armor on top of that, like you'd be like literally unkillable. So, and then now you can generate an extra orb as well. Ward of Dawn. This is really interesting. Armor of Light is gone. So that's kind of crazy. And so it just gives you a void overshield, makes it easier to read. But Weapons of Light is also gone, and now it is only Saint 14, the Helm of Saint 14. So I don't know if we're in a scenario where Ward of Dawn really needs to be nerfed. But here we go, I guess. My copium is this is really teasing a encounter in the new raid that for some reason Ward of Dawn is incredibly good at, but I don't really know, man. Yeah, but it's weird to remove Armor of Light in Weapons of Light. The reason I say it like that, it's gone, and I say it like with so much surprise, is because those have been like fundamental fundamental parts of the identity of Ward of Dawn literally since Destiny 1 launch. Right? You used to have to pick between them, I think. So it's weird that they're like, yeah, actually, fuck it. Remove them, you know? But it's just weird to nerf it when Ward of Dawn is, in PvE, one of the worst supers. It's really just not that good. So, but yeah, moving Weapons of Light to only Helm of Saint 14 is kind of wild. I don't really understand that one. Arc subclasses, Arc Staff, your heavy palm strike attacks and heavy air slam attacks blind enemies. That's kind of cool. Disorienting blow, the cooldown was decreased. Disorienting blow, I love that build. Like the whole Liar's Handshake build is really fun. Tempest Strike, that's the uppercut, right? Added additional damage resistance versus PvE combatants when activated. That's cool. Warlock Lightning Surge added additional damage resistance versus PvE combatants. The Severance Enclosure nerf is crazy. I'm kind of curious about that because once again, I really have never seen anyone really use it. Ball Lightning increase the final army shape size by 30. These are just like small things that it's hard to be like, oh yeah, 30% bigger until we actually see how it plays. But also, when's the last time literally anyone has used Ball of Lightning? Or yeah, like if you're in PvP, you're using Lightning Surge. In PvE, you don't use Arc, so we'll see. Titan Thunderclap got a bunch of buffs. So cool, I guess. Really have never seen anyone use Thunderclap either. Yo, Traxxas, how you doing, man? Are people out here using Arc other than Thunder Crash? Yeah, I mean, Arc Hunter is one of the best subclasses in the game. I mean, it's got pretty crazy. It's hard. I'd say it has a higher skill floor. Like, you probably need to plan for it a little bit more. But the survivability and damage output for Arc Hunter is pretty fucking absurd if you play it correctly. I am curious, but Arc Warlock sucks. It's been difficult for us to find a solid place for the knockout aspect across game mode, so they're changing it. Increased damage bonus granted to power melee attacks versus PvE combatants. It's doubled from 25 to 50%. Arc Hunter's the only Arc one I ever touched. I mean, Thunder Crash is good, but Arc Hunter, I really like it because it's a very dynamic playstyle. Like, it's very unique. Even compared to other melee builds on other classes, or even on Hunter, but mostly other classes, I guess. Arc Hunter has a very, very unique flow of play, which I really enjoy. You honestly think Arc Warlock is better than Arc Titan now? Even with the supers, really? Do they talk? Did I miss the supers, or are they going to talk about them? I don't know, man. Arc Warlock supers are so they're so underwhelming, I guess. But I don't know. I haven't seen any Chaos Reach damage numbers in a while, so It could just be, I could just be ignorant of how good it is, if it's good. You're sleeping on amplified arc souls. Oh, that is a good point. Vesper Radius builds are pretty cool. I forgot about Vesper builds. I think the neutral game's probably a lot better on Warlocks. I'll totally give you that, 100%. Yeah, Vesper cooks. Yeah. I was thinking specific, like when I was making those comments, I was thinking about Super. I think Titan Super is clear, but I guess in a neutral game build, you don't really need a crazy Super, to be honest. So yeah. Sorry, knockout has been changed. Reworked healing behavior. No longer unstuns healing regeneration on melee defeats. Now instantly grants a chunk of healing that scales with the type of target. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of like Cure, the arc version of Cure now. Touch of Thunder, Storm Grenade, increased tracking, travel speed when targeting PvE combatants between 0.5 and 1 meters per second. That's one of those things I'll have to see. It's kind of interesting though. I think like Hoyle, a lot of people are like, oh, Hoyle's back. We'll have to wait and see. If Hoyle is back, I take back what I said. Titan neutral game's better, but we'll have to see. Yep. Arc grenades got some changes. I don't really care that much. No one uses skip grenades. No one uses arc bolt grenades. Like, when's the last time anyone's like, oh, I'm going to PvE. I'm using Lucky Raspberry and arc bolt grenades, baby. Like, no one does that. I don't really care. So if Hoyle's back, they'll just nerf it again. Hey, but it'll take them a couple months to do it. Hoyle was really fun. So yeah. Arc fragments got some changes. Spark of recharge ability regeneration bonus now persists until the player returns to full shields. Spark of beacons also triggers on defeating targets with arc power ammo weapons while amplified. Frequency now gains 15 stability on powered melee hits. So just some small kind of, I think, relatively minor changes. Solar subclass changes. This is interesting. Lightweight knife for a hunter now has 2 melee charges by default. Increase the throw animation speed by 33%. Dude, you're gonna be you're gonna be whipping it. Both knives can be thrown very quickly back to back. Man, I'm not looking forward to that. You're just a crucible and someone's just like, you're just fucking dead. You know what I mean? How much damage does a lightweight knife do? Surely it's enough to 2-bang you. Yeah, exactly like Withering Blade. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna be running around a crucible, someone's like, that's gonna be ridiculous. Okay, so do you remember the choice in D1 from the Vanguard or the Drifter? That was not Destiny 1, that was Destiny 2. The Drifter did not exist until Forsaken. What was the point of that? The point of that was a seasonal beat, and it will never go anywhere. Like a substantial number of people that play the game, like a ridiculous amount of people that play the game, 30, 40, 50%, didn't play back in Season of the Drifter. They would never bring that story arc back. It'd be, that will literally never, it will never mean anything. So yeah, lightweight knife is going to be disgusting. Knock them down. Reduced. I don't even know what I was trying to say there. Reduced internal cooldown on throwing knife refund from 1 second to 0.2 second. Golden Gun Marksman. So they very heavily nerfed Golden Gun chaining, which is great. I don't know if you guys have seen, but if you have 5-6 hunters, you can endlessly pop Golden Guns, and it is pretty disgustingly overpowered. Reduced strength of orbs of power created on precision hit as follows. I'm not going to go through it because honestly, it's not going to make that big of a difference in word form. They just nerfed it pretty heavily. So Drifter still calls you a snitch if you started with a Vanguard. That's a cool little thing, but yeah, so Titan Consecration Slam attacks can now shatter stasis crystals. This is for Prismatic for sure. Ignitions generated by Consecration now deal 20% additional damage to PvE combatants. Fix an issue where Consecration Slam attack was sometimes unable to damage floating combatants, and fix an issue where the intended PvE damage resistance was not being applied. Another thing that they're changing for Prismatic is Hammer of Soul. Increased projectile subunit count when Soul Invictus is not equipped. Once again, it's just more shrapnel. That's all you need to know. It's nice having these specific patch note things, but I'll read these and every one of us will forget it in 10 seconds, right? So it's like, yeah. Wait, does Star Eaters actually give you less super energy when picking up those orbs when not using them? Yeah, only when you're using Golden Gun. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we can go back and we can read this. So, Golden Gun on precision hits, now you generate smaller orbs essentially. The specific one for Star Eaters is only if you pick up orbs and you are using Golden Gun, I believe. Let me double check that, but I believe. Yes, reduce the increased super energy gained from Orb of Power when Golden Gun is equipped. So for 98% of, I'd say realistically, for 85% of people, this won't matter. This is only if you are a Golden Gun and you pick up someone's star. Wait. This is only when you have Star Eater scales equipped and you are running Star Eater scales? That's a good question. Or is it any orbs? Yeah. When you're wearing Star Eater scales and you're using Golden Gun. Bro, I'm tweaking. What the fuck? Star Eater scales have always been. We wanted to. So the thing that's confusing me is this anyone who's running Golden Gun that picks up orbs generated from someone wearing Star Eater scales? Or is it someone wearing Star Eater scales and using Golden Gun? Or both? That is a little confusing. What if you had a choice between the Witness or the Traveler? Who would you choose? Have you been paying attention? You know the Witness like tortures us for fun, right? That's really interesting. That's an interesting question. But Star Eaters generate... I think what it is Star Eaters generates smaller... Man, I'm fucking tweaking. I fucking know. Star Eaters are worse. I don't fucking know. I have no idea, man. That is really complicated. I went into that being like, guys, you're asking me the most simple question of all time, and then I my brain melted trying to understand that. So I don't know. That's an interesting thing. There's no way they're gonna give us a branching choice, guys. It will not happen. Yeah, testing is required, almost certainly. Warlock Chaos Accelerant, that's where you supercharge your grenades, charge magnetic grenades, knocks back more, does more damage. Ooh, does more damage. That's interesting. Pocket Singularity is the worst ability in the entire fucking game. They're increased damage by 50%. It doesn't matter because it travels 2 feet and if you shoot it, it'll go over there. Pocket Singularity is awful. It is horrendous. It does not need to be in the game. I would literally take no melee over Pocket Singularity any day of the week. Give me the Destiny 1 Devour melee, please. For the love of God, get rid of Pocket Singularity. It is so bad. I hate Pocket Singularity so much. Nova Bomb is getting buffed. So Cataclysm Nova Bomb has 50% more Seekers, 4 to 6. That is awesome. Vortex variant now lasts about 50% longer, 7 seconds to 10. So either way, Nova Bomb's going to do a lot more damage, which I'm really, really excited for that. I like Nova Bomb a lot. Solo Nezrax's back on the table, baby. So literally anything that actually deals the same or better damage than a normal melee. I hate Pocket Singularity so much, man. It is so bad. Yeah. And same, yeah, the gas bombs are really cool for a hunter, but yeah, you should have the ability to have like a normal void melee as well for that if you want. Strand subclasses, threat of warding, reduced woven mail duration from 10 seconds to 5. I think like a lot of these changes across all of this is they just don't want people to be stacking 28 different types of damage resist. People are still gonna fucking find ways to do it. But imagine a scenario where you have 10 resilient or 100 resilience, 30% DR, then 10%, 10%, then woven mail, which I don't even know what woven mail is, and then up to 22 or 36 stasis as well. Like, this could get out of control really fucking fast. But luckily, they all only last a couple of seconds, so yeah. Does Prismatic have Cataclysm or Vortex? That is an interesting question. Prismatic super combinations Destiny. Let me check. Void is... That's Hunter. That's Hunter. It is Cataclysmic. So it is the... It's the Seeker one. It's the slow one. Hunter, Ensnaring Slam, Detonation Volume versus enemy players now a cylinder. So I think this is another thing, like, Strand is really powerful at everything. And so this makes sense, especially from a PvP standpoint, but also from a, if there's multiple champions in like a Grandmaster that you're trying to capture or whatever. Suspension has just been crazy for a long time, right? So Woven is currently 55%. Oh my god, that is absurd. Threaded Spike, reduced damage versus enemy players from 79 to 70. Just to make it a little weaker, but Weaver's Call. Threadling upside. Yes, okay, Weaver's Call. Added new behavior. Defeating a target with strand damage now has a chance to generate a perched Threadling. Oh, that's really awesome. Tusk of the Boar using a Strand Warlock could go very hard. Or did we decide we're getting a new Strand Rocket Sidearm? I don't think so, right? We're getting a Stasis and a Solar one, maybe? If we get a Strand Rocket Sidearm, that would go so hard. That would be really cool. Yeah, we are getting one. Okay, yeah, that's sick. That type of build, ton of damage and add control behavior. That's really cool. Yo, Stefan, thank you so much for the sub. That could be really fun. Yeah, okay, sick. I think Strand Warlock is going to be incredibly good. Strand Warlock already has one of the best like DPS rotations in the game. So you add Strand Warlock with like, and Threadlings are a pretty big part of that actually. So that could be pretty sick. Before we get into Berserker, let's talk about Grapple Tangles. This is good. This is Strand type nerfs, but not enough. Grapple Tangles no longer refresh their duration when grappled to. So if you guys don't know, you could endlessly grapple. Because every time you grapple to a tangle, it refreshes. Now increase their duration by a maximum of 5 seconds per grapple, reducing to a maximum of 1 second added after 5 consecutive grapples. So it's gonna fall off. They're not gonna be as good. I still think that is well enough time to use the Strand Titan strat. Also, what else they changed? It's not that much either. Into the Fray, reduce melee energy regeneration scalar from 4 to 3 times. In PvE, Banner of War, reduced from 30 seconds to 24 seconds on max. I still think Banner of War is like, it's very good, man. Your damage bonuses have also been decreased from across the board. And then, yeah, with Worm Gods were nerfed. I forgot about this when I said this earlier. Yeah, Worm Gods were nerfed a little bit with Banner of War. But with the healing that Banner of War gives you, I still think it is super good. I have a problem when one thing does so many things. And Banner of War does a lot of fucking things. So, we're going to see. Yeah, and then Frenzy Blade is also nerfed. Where did I miss the fucking... Where did they talk about the... Am I dumb? Yes, okay. Here's where they talk about it. Additionally, grapple melee will no longer be able to be used after firing your weapon. So this means you can't do grapple melee or grapple shoot melee. That being said, like the other combination, as I understand it, is still very powerful, where you shoot grapple melee, and it doesn't seem like they're really doing anything about that, and that's very broken. So I'm curious about that. I think Strand Titan, excuse me, is still going to be unbelievably broken. So very curious to see if they do anything about that. But yeah. Okay. Well, that's all of the new information we have. Yeah, like I said, I won't be here tomorrow, and I won't be here Saturday. On Sunday, we'll have a stream watching the second Vidoc, doing some bounty prep. Next week, we are going to be doing so much Onslaught. It is not going to be funny. With double weapon drops, double token drops, and double shiny drops, I'm going to be in there. I'm going for everything, okay? So, yeah. Alrighty, everyone. That's going to be the end of today's stream. Thank you so much for hanging out. Love your faces. I'll see you guys very soon. Have a nice couple of days. And I'm really excited to play and see all this stuff. I mean, Final Shape's a week and a half away. We are right fucking there. You can start farming tokens now too. Yeah, I just threw my water bottle. You can start farming now. And maybe I'll stack up. We don't know if the chest is going to have double drop rates, but we'll see. But yeah. Everyone have a fantastic night. Love your faces. Peace out. See you, everyone.